Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today I want to talk about how I'm preparing my stock and crypto portfolio for what's to come. There's a lot of unknowns. We don't know what's happening with the SEC and their incoming regulations to crypto. We don't know what's going to happen with the Ripple lawsuit, although I think it could end positively for Ripple. And we just don't know what's going to happen with crypto in the future. And so I'm preparing myself for the unknown. And I'm also preparing myself for the Bitcoin halving. And I think after that, there's going to be some crazy gains, things that we've never seen before. And I'm preparing myself for that. And I want to be involved in that. I don't want to miss that train. So this video is about how I'm preparing myself for that and how I'm setting myself up for the future. If that's something that interests you, please stay tuned till the end of the video and let me know your thoughts. What are your favorite stocks? What are your favorite cryptos? Let me know if I'm missing something. So let's get into it. Looking at the crypto space here, we see that it's much positive than it was earlier this week. We're seeing a lot of green, and we like that. Bitcoin's up about 4%, ETH up about 4.5%. So I'm liking that. Much better. I think the sentiment is getting a lot better with crypto. Now, looking at stocks, it's a mixed bag. After Powell announced that he was taking a pause, he did mention that there'd be possibly two more rate hikes within the year. I don't know if that was bluff or not, but we'll see. So after that meeting, the stocks took a little bit of a hit, but I think the market overall shrugged it off and betting that there won't be any more hikes. So we'll see. And some of my favorite stocks we'll be talking about later on in this video are in green. So I think that gave you a good hint right there. Bing, bing, bing. So that's good. Now let's take a look at the fear and greed index for the crypto space. It's in neutral. When I made my video earlier this week, we were in fear. So that's positive. People are starting to, say whatever, SEC, we don't care what you're doing. We still believe in our cryptos. We're still going to hodl, and crypto is the future. And that's what I like to see. So looking at the crypto rankings here, CoinMarketCap, we see 24-hour gains. Bitcoin 3.96, slightly off from what we saw with the heat map. ETH up 4%. XRP is up 3.5%. This is 1 day change. Cardano, good. Positive momentum, up 3.7%. Doge is up 1%. Solana, 7.8%. Same thing with Polygon. So some positivity, and I like it, man. That's good, but nothing too crazy as far as gains go. Looking at the trending, we see Pepe meme coins up 11.4%. So that's very, very interesting. Global crypto market cap is over $1 trillion, and we still want it to be 1 trillion and over. So that's good. That's an increase of 3.7% over the last day. So crypto space is looking up. Everyone's optimistic, and that's what we like. And could that be because of the news of BlackRock file basically with the SEC for a Bitcoin spot ETF? Now, we've known historically SEC has put the kibosh on anyone that's tried to come up with these spot ETFs. I know Grayscale, got a L, and many others. And the reason this is important and the reason everyone's so optimistic about it is because BlackRock, whenever they apply for ETFs, their ranking is like 575 to 1. So out of 576 times they applied for an ETF, they've been approved 575 times of that. The only time they didn't was because something they wanted to report quarterly, whereas I think there's a regulation where you have to report a little bit more than that. And that's the only reason they lost the one time. So it's pretty much, if they're applying for it and they know SEC's denied everything, they pretty much know something that we don't, that they're going to be approved for that. And if a Bitcoin spot ETF gets approved, it's on and popping. Trust me, it's on and popping once that happens. That's one of the steps to regulation for Bitcoin. And once that happens, big institutions will start getting into Bitcoin and things will start flying, which is why I'm kind of setting up my portfolio in preparation of this. I'm setting it up for Bitcoin. At some point will have mass adoption, and I want to be on board, already on board, way aboard when that happens. So get ready for that. This article goes on to say that the SEC's consistent opposition to spot Bitcoin ETF raises the question of why BlackRock will go through the bother of filing a petitus for a fund that was bound to be denied. The answer may be its name, size, and traditional finance background would go a long way towards overcoming the agency's opposition to an inevitable development. As the world's largest asset manager, BlackRock sees an opportunity to maintain its position in global capital markets through ETF application. If they succeed, it signals a strong sense of trust in their leadership by the SEC to navigate the challenges of a revolutionary product alongside regulators while also legitimizing, I can't talk today, Bitcoin. So that is going to be a big thing if that happens, and I'm preparing myself for it. So look at this video of CEO Larry Fink back in 2018 about what he felt about BlackRock.
Is it true
Bitcoin.
that you're building out a cryptocurrency capability?
No. I mean, we're looking at it. We're looking at blockchain technologies, and we're looking at all the
But blockchain isn't crypto. Blockchain is just the underlying technology. Well, don't your clients want crypto exposure?
No, I don't believe any client has sought out crypto exposure.
Really?
Yes.
But at some point they might. Do you need to be prepared?
I don't, at the moment, no. I have not heard from any one client they're looking to buy a cryptocurrency at this time. But right now, I can tell you it worldwide, I have not heard from one client who said, I need to be in this.
Shout out to Altcoin Daily for that. But what has changed? 2018 to now, one of the biggest asset managers in the world. Crypto was nothing, I don't think they want it. Now they want to be a part of it and even be involved in a spot ETF. Guys, we got to pay attention to see what's going on. Whatever big money's doing, you normally want to follow them. And although sometimes big money can lie to you, they can say, oh, it's something, it's bad, it's rat poison on one end, but on the back end, they're trying to scoop up to get at lower prices. But you always want to follow what big money does, smart money. Whatever they're doing, that's what you want to follow. So let's look at the public companies with the largest Bitcoin holdings. MicroStrategy, Tesla, Galaxy Digital, Binance, and some of these, if you're in the crypto space, you've heard of before. But as far as what's trading on the crypto or US stock exchange, you have Coinbase, Block, which used to be Square, MicroStrategy, Tesla. So Bitcoin is here. Now, next, BRICS. The reason I bring this up is because Bitcoin is a store of value. And I've been hearing stories and I'm following it. I don't think it's going to happen in our lifetime. But US dollar as the reserve currency could be in jeopardy. BRICS, which is basically countries like Brazil, Russia, India, China, South Africa, and there's other nations, Iran, Egypt, Saudi Arabia, they're looking to form their own currency so they don't rely on the US dollar. And this is gaining steam. A lot of countries are trying to get into this. And if this picks up steam, US dollar may not be the reserve currency. Will this BRICS be the reserve currency? I don't know. But would Bitcoin be? I don't know. But I would say that Bitcoin, and if adoption comes like I think it will, could it be reserve currency? I don't know. But I like to be involved and I like to have a position in Bitcoin if it does. But this is something to pay attention to as far as this BRICS currency goes versus the US dollar. About every month I'm hearing something about it, and you're hearing other countries wanting to be a part of it. So let's pay attention to it. So Bitcoin, not to say the least, is one of my favorite positions here. And this is one of the ones that I will be accumulating, DCAing every 2 weeks. And the goal for everyone should be to get a whole coin, because at some point in the near future, it'll be impossible to get a whole coin at a reasonable amount. 26,000 is not reasonable to a lot of families out there, but imagine if this thing gets to 300,000, then it's really not attainable. So even if you can get a little bit or 0.1 Bitcoin, I think everyone should strive to get at least 0.1 Bitcoin in their portfolio. And that is one of my biggest positions right now. I like Bitcoin, and I think it's the strongest, hardest asset out there. And you'll be doing yourself a disservice if you don't have any. Next is Ethereum. Ethereum is another one that I'm 100% in. Basically everything runs on Ethereum. It has the most utility. It's the most utility, I think, is all cryptos out there. Everything runs through it. And if you look at TVL, TVL right now is 58.6% out of all the change. The total TVL, the total value lock on Ethereum is 24.8 billion. 24.8 billion. The next closest is Tron, which, I don't know about Tron, but the next closest would be Arbitrum, right? 2.6 billion, and that runs on top of Ethereum. Polygon, the same thing, 887.9, and that runs on top of Ethereum. So TVL and DeFi runs on Ethereum. I think it has the most utility, the most important, besides Bitcoin, the most important crypto in the space. So that's Ethereum is all about it for me. That's my second biggest crypto right there. Ethereum, I think everyone should have some Ethereum as well. Another reason is, the price. It's going to appreciate because they implemented this burn mechanism, and per year so far 720,000 ETH has been burned. The current supply is 120 million. That's it. So if it becomes scarce, what happens when an asset or something is scarce? The price goes up, and I see nothing but positive things happening for ETH. There have been a lot of L1s claiming that they'll take ETH's lunch. They'll do this and that, but it hasn't happened yet. And if there is one that could possibly do it, it's my hedge, and my third holding would be Cardano. Cardano has taken a hit recently because it's been labeled a security by Gensler, but I think it's found support at 25 cents. It's been hovering around, that 25 cent to, upper 30-cent number for the longest time. But I think I see big things happening for Cardano. The Hydra upgrade, once that happened, it increases scalability. There's also some languages, and a lot of developers were kind of hesitant or maybe not wanting to go to Cardano because of Haskell language, and it's kind of hard to program, but they're working around that. And I think in due time, Cardano is going to flip. It's going to do very, very well. And also as a strong community. If we look at staking here, you see that with all the FUD that's going on Cardano, it still has over 63% people staking Cardano. They're not going anywhere. So Cardano is very strong. Gripes about it is because that slow scientific approach. A lot of things, a lot of other projects will pass it just because it's so slow. The price hasn't gone up, but believe in it. I think, in the long term, if they keep doing what they're doing, they're just proofing everything and nothing can go wrong once it's finally fully 100% developed, that it could possibly be a hedge to ETH. So that's my third holding right there. Now, number 4, MicroStrategy. We talked about that. Basically, the price is $293.39 right now. And I guess the figurehead for MicroStrategy, he's no longer CEO, would be Michael Saylor. And this company basically is an electronic company, software company, but they're known for their Bitcoin holdings. And if we look and see how much Bitcoin they have about 140,000 Bitcoins and possibly still accumulating. Now, if Bitcoin blows and they get major adoption, we have this BlackRock ETF coming on, and if it blows like we think it can, what would a company like this be worth? Just think about that. What would it be worth? It's crazy. And I think other people are seeing it as well. Not people, but corporations. If you look at the top 10 owners of MicroStrategy, some of these names you'll probably recognize. The Vanguard Group, Fidelity Management, who pretty much runs and controls a lot of the 401ks in the US here. BlackRock, we talked about. Morgan Stanley, Invesco, Toroso, and then if you look at mutual funds that own it. So do you think these investment companies don't know what they're investing in? They know exactly what's happening. And I think a lot of them invest in MicroStrategy instead of Bitcoin because of the accounting issues. As a public company, if you invest in Bitcoin, as far as losses and, if it goes up and down, the way you have to write it and file your taxes, very complicated. It's easier to own a proxy. And that's why you see some of these companies owning MicroStrategy. So MicroStrategy, I think, is going to do big things in the future. So MicroStrategy is another one of my holdings. Next, we have Tesla. Tesla's always been one of my favorite investments. Funny story, one of the first stocks, or the first stock I ever purchased, was Tesla. I purchased it on Robinhood, and back then it was $300, and that stock rose to over $3,000 for one stock. The stock has since split a couple of times since then, but Tesla is continuing innovation. As far as EVs, I think they're number one in the space. They have control as far as the EV, the infrastructure. They recently said that they're opening it up to Ford and other companies to charge at their docking stations. They have, FSD, they have robotics, they have their own insurance. As far as Model 3 and Model Y, top selling vehicles, Tesla, I can't say enough. They're, I think, a technology company that happens to sell cars. People think, and I think the stock market's evaluating it as a car company, but it's more than that. They have energy with solar panels. I can go on. And they just started recently advertising. Before that, they did all of that sales with no advertising. So this is a company that's going to continue to innovate. They have their truck coming out. They have a Roadster coming out in the near future. They have the semi truck coming out. I mean, Tesla is one of those great stocks that I'm always going to have on. I think it's one of the important stocks that everyone should have at least some exposure to. So I love Tesla. Next is Google. There's been a lot of talk about AI, and right now, Microsoft, I think, is taking the lead with that. But I think at the end of the day, Google will have or be a big player in the AI space. We use Google for everything. I mean, throughout this video here, I've used Google countless numbers of times. When I'm traveling, Google Maps, Waze, everything, YouTube, Google's everywhere. And I think they're just a phenomenal technical company. And I'm always going to have some Google. I think it's a good company to hold. And then lastly, we have CleanSpark. CleanSpark is a Bitcoin mining company, and they're just doing good things, great things. And I think it's a good company to get into right before the Bitcoin halving. If you look at the current price now, it's about $3.88. They have good cash flow. They just reported their earnings, good cash flow, and they have very aggressive plans. They want to purchase more rigs to be in line to produce as much Bitcoin as they can before the next Bitcoin halving. They have good debt, and basically they minted about 1,871 Bitcoins so far. So as far as Bitcoin mining companies go, I believe they're in the top 3. And if you don't know about them, you should probably do some research and find out about it. But, I think at the high, they were about $16 as far as the high goes, as far as the price for the stock. As far as, the bear market came by, and then they dropped from that $16 number down to around $2. Then they got up to a high about $5, and now it's about $3.88. So this is a stock that I can see after the Bitcoin halving tripling or 5 times this amount. So take a look at CleanSpark if you don't know about it. Obviously, do your own research. Don't listen to me. I'm just some guy on YouTube. But CleanSpark is a very good stock. So like I said, they're eyeing expansion. CleanSpark assured investors during its Q2 earnings call that it is both growing rapidly and focusing on efficiency. According to statements provided by CleanSpark, the company doubled the number of Bitcoin mined last quarter compared with Q2 of last year, but its revenue increased only 14%. And that could be because, price of Bitcoin. The CEO said that the stunted revenue growth was largely a result of low Bitcoin prices. Our revenue per Bitcoin this quarter was approximately $22,700, whereas last year the revenue was $41,000. He added that the company's improved hash rate makes it well positioned to take advantage of even the slightest increase in Bitcoin prices. The halving refers to the moment when miners' block rewards will be cut from 6.25 to 3.125 Bitcoin, which is expected sometime next April. Only the most efficient miners will have production capacity and balance sheets to capitalize on this historic event. He added that CleanSpark's current fleet averages 31 watts of electricity per terahash, which he expects to bring down as low as 26 watts by the end of the year. Guys, I'm trying to tell you, this CleanSpark is going to be one. It's going to be a big winner after this halving. So at the end of the day, that's how I'm preparing myself for the next year. The end of this year, all of next year, I'm focusing on these stocks and these cryptos. There are many altcoins that I like, and many other different stocks that I like as well. But if you're not a Warren Buffett and you don't have endless, money coming in, you kind of have to address your capital where you can. And I think if I have a concentrated amount of favorite stocks and cryptos that I like, I can get more of them. Whereas if I'm focused on 20, I could only get little pieces of each. But if I have ones that have strong conviction in, I can have bigger portions of it. And when it's time to turn around and turn up, I think I'll be in a good position. So guys, that's my video today. Those are my favorite stocks. Let me know what you think. I hope you enjoy the rest of your weekend. And until next time.